Hi everyone, this is the weather hazard briefing for Friday, January 6th, 2023 from the National Weather Service Forecast Office here in Pocatello, Idaho. We've got snow out there this morning, well, a little bit of rain in a few spots, but mostly snow, and we're going to continue to see more precip chances as we go through the weekend and even into early next week. So our active weather pattern is continuing, at least for the foreseeable future. So, snow mainly through the first half of today, being Friday. Some light snow, though, will linger up in the higher elevations, mainly of the eastern highlands, near the Island Park area. I've got an increasing chance for rain and snow as we get into the kind of the end of the weekend and into early Monday. Then we likely see a little bit of a break midday on Monday before another wave of moisture arrives late Monday into Tuesday. That Monday into Tuesday time frame looks to be a little bit more impactful at this point. Still a little too early to get into some of the specifics about any potential totals. Temperatures are also going to be a bit warmer too, so would not be surprised to see a bit of a rain-snow mix as we continue seeing these precip chances here over the next several days. In fact, we'll look at some of our high temperatures as we get into next week. Some of us are going to be pushing pretty close to, if not hitting, that 40-degree mark over the next week or so. So we're also going to see any of the snow that does fall start to melt too. All right, here's a look at satellite earlier this morning. You can see just that low churning out in the Pacific. Again, we continue to see just waves of moisture impacting the western half of the U.S. So that pattern not breaking down anytime soon. We're going to continue to see these systems bringing a lot more moisture to the west coast, and that includes bringing more moisture here into parts of central and eastern Idaho. So we did end up expanding the winter weather advisory for a little bit more of parts of southeastern Idaho, so including areas like Soda Springs, Preston, those parts of I-15. Again, just expanding that a little bit where we've seen that kind of switch over to snow earlier with some of those lower snow levels, equaling higher totals by the time this is all said and done. We'll talk about those totals coming up here in just a little bit too, but I want to give you heads up, at least for this morning, that winter weather advisory will continue. So here's our weather risk outlook grid for the next several days here. Overall, a lot of green, but you'll notice a lot of light snow coming up in the forecast. Have it in the minor impacts for the southeast highlands and the eastern highlands today. Of course, that's where we've got the winter weather advisory. We get a little bit of a break on Saturday. Any of that light snow should be wrapping up or mainly impacting some of the higher elevations. Watch for some patchy fog, though. That is, of course, pretty typical after we see this moisture. And then that next round of some rain and snow arriving on Sunday into Monday. A little bit of a break on Monday before then the second half of Monday into Tuesday. We see likely a bit more impactful round of some rain and snow. So that's why we start to introduce a few more into the minor category or minor impacts across more of the area. So here is one look at what we could still see on the radar as we go through at least Friday morning here. We've seen mainly snow out there now. We've done that switch over. Burley has kind of been the holdout, but we're starting to see getting closer at least to switching over to all snow across the area. We'll continue to see that hanging out right along I-84 and into 15, kind of almost just right along into the south of Idaho Falls is where some of the heavier snow, at least through this morning, is going to be located. And then the farther north you go, you're going to have to wait until we see more of the snow wrapping up down here in the lower elevations. And as far as some of those snow totals, a lot of us kind of a blanket 1 to 2 inches of snow, at least down here in the valleys. You get a little bit higher up in elevation, 2 to 3 inches. Of course, up in the mountains, you will see a little bit more, especially through part of the Bear River Range. This graphic here showing potentially about 6 to 8 inches of snow there. Again, where you see generally higher snow totals on this map, that is where we do have that winter weather advisory in effect. Temperatures, though, are going to warm up Once we get a little bit of a break in some of the precip here, a lot of us are going to be back into the mid and upper 30s for afternoon highs. In fact, for some of us, temperatures hardly budged at all overnight. At least here at the office, we've spent most of the night right around 32, 33 degrees. So, not a big swing in temperatures, but they will nudge up a little bit more as we go through the day today. Winds also not too much of an issue, but you will start to see them picking up a little bit more this afternoon with some gusts up to about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Again, not a particularly windy day, but will be noticeable at times. Temperatures are going to stay fairly mild, all things considered. Most of us in the mid to upper 30s as we get into the weekend here. This is Saturday. Winds looking pretty similar. Some of those gusts around 15 to about 20 miles per hour. Sunday, very similar story. You see a lot of 30s there for afternoon highs. Some of us, yes, could push towards that 40-degree mark. And then that continues into Monday, with some of us warming up even a little bit more. So that's why we'll continue to see that mix of rain versus snow, which of course makes forecasting some of those snow totals a bit trickier. But again, with that next round of snow looking to be Sunday into Monday, not particularly impactful right now. Snow totals look light with that. More impact would be that second round, which would be late Monday into Tuesday. Still a little early to talk about totals, so keep checking back for updates as we get a little bit closer to that Monday PM into Tuesday time frame there. But overall, this active weather pattern looks to continue. This is the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. That would cover January 11th through the 15th, so that gets us basically to the middle of the month. And you continue to see most of the western half of the U.S. Leaning above as far as probabilities of seeing above normal precip. In that same time period, a lot of the U.S. looking a little bit warmer too, and you can see that with those afternoon highs that we've got over the next few days, with a lot of us in the 30s to close to 40 degrees. That is just slightly above average for this time of the year. That trend looks to continue, at least as we get into the middle part of the month here. So just to kind of wrap things up, we do have some snow out there this morning, so if you're watching this before you head out the door, maybe give yourself a little bit of extra time in case you run into some slushy roads or potentially a few slick spots out there. As we get into the second half of the day, the snow will start to wrap up for most of us, but lingering in the upper elevations of the eastern highlands as we get into the afternoon and this evening. More rain and snow chances are headed our way as we get into this weekend, especially Sunday into Monday. A little bit of a break around midday on Monday, before then Monday evening into Tuesday morning. Another round of some snow and rain headed our way. That second round there looks to be a little bit more impactful at the moment. Stay tuned for updates on that. Warmer temperatures overall, though, with a lot of us seeing highs in the 30s and 40s. Those temperatures above freezing, again, mean we'll see a mix of some rain and snow. And what snow we do see will probably melt pretty quickly with those temperatures. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the forecast, you can always find us, of course, by shooting us an email, giving us a phone call. Find us on social media. We always post the latest updates to the forecast there, too. Otherwise, have a great day.